Okay, with audio, I'm not a recording genius, so I apologize. Okay, so now you want to know how to get this Oakland cut into the background here. So this is what the customer sent me, Grant, and he had made one that kind of, was a little long and made the skyline kind of small. So I went ahead and designed this out of what he sent me here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So here we go. First, this skyline is going to be a little bit too long, so I'm going to try and fix that. Actually, let's get rid of all this extra crap in here. So basically, I click the node tool, highlight, get all the nodes showing. I'm going to highlight the nodes that I want to delete. You could break apart everything, but the problem is this bridge has a ton of pieces in it, and it'd take you a long time to fix it. So we're just going to delete the nodes that we don't want, and now we have just the bridge here. What we're going to do is kind of get the ratio of what we want it to look like first, and then I'll cut it down. So we're going to just play around with this a little bit and see where we like it, and I kind of about that size is pretty good there. It always helps to change the color of things so you can see the different layers a little easier. So let's see, we'll make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so now it's going to be way too long on the wall. This would look kind of ridiculous and it'd take up a lot of metal. So we're going to cut this down a little bit, and I'm going to use my square tool, and I'm just going to kind of figure out where I want to cut it. And now, because this square is on top, we're going to hold shift and select the background, and then we're going to go to path and just difference. And you can tell these things union, you can see how they join them together. Difference cuts whatever's on top out. Intersection would cut both things out and leave the middles. Exclusion cuts them into them. So we're going to difference this and cut it off. I'm going to do the same thing over here and just kind of cut this down a little bit so that it's not so big. So I'm going to go ahead and select the square, hold shift, select the background, path, and difference. Now if you mess up, Control Z always goes back. So, say you don't remember that it's difference and you accidentally hit, intersection and you do it wrong, just hit Control Z, go back, try a different option. It takes a little while to learn those things, so it's no big deal. The other thing that's a really good trick is if you move something to look at something, or you want to click a back layer, you move it, click, Control Z, puts everything back, but it still has whatever you selected, so you can adjust that however you want. So now we got our basic background here, but you can see all these lines in here that we don't want to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go to path, and I want to outset. Now, once you learn the quick keys, it's Control and the close parentheses is going to be your outset. So we're just going to outset that until all those lines go away. That looks pretty good there. So we're going to leave it like that. Now we need to do this Oakland. So the Oakland's a little tricky because we want to have, actually let's do the background first. So we're going to go ahead and take both of the, I lie, we're going to do the Oakland first. So we got the Oakland in here. We need to go ahead and duplicate this, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut this back out of here. So let's go ahead and Control D is duplicate. So now we have a copy. We're going to get this, whatever the right size is going to be here. And that's good there. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this so we keep it the right ratio. So now what we're going to do is, if we cut that the same, it's not going to look right. So what we have to do is select this one, and we're going to do that path and outset again, or control close parentheses. Now here's something that you guys might get discouraged on. See, it's not doing anything right now. So we're going to hit the node tool and see what's going on. And you can see right away that this is all separate letters. So as I'm highlighting it, it's showing the paths of the letters. So what we have, it's not going to let you outset it like that with all those different letters. So we have to select each one individually. Now you could outset it like this, but I'm going to go ahead and union these together, and basically I'm welding them together. Okay, so now it's all one piece, and you'll see when we do the node tool now, it's all highlights as one piece. Okay, so now we'll be able to do our controls, or select it, control close parentheses. Sorry, click the node tool, highlight it. Now we should be able to, now it's getting bigger, control close parentheses. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, just so I can see what's going on, is I'm going to make this black. I'm going to put it on top so I get a reference of how big I'm making this here. And you want to, a good little bit of space so you can see. So we're going to go ahead and node tool, highlight that back one, and we're going to control close parentheses, make it bigger. And that looks about good. Okay, so now we have to get rid of all these openings here. So we're going to select it, go to path, we're going to break it apart. So what this is going to do is break every little piece out of there, okay? Or it's supposed to. There we go. Okay, so now it's broken all the pieces out. I'm going to highlight all those pieces, and then I'm just going to, you could delete each one individually, but I'm just going to union them all together. It's going to make one big piece, okay? All right, so now we have our outline of the Oakland. Now we want to cut it into the background here. So we're going to select this here. We're going to select our background. We're going to go to path, and we're going to go to difference, because we want to cut it. You can see the little circles cutting into the image. There we go. Okay, so now you see it's all cut in there, and this little piece fits kind of nicely inside there. Okay. Now we're going to need to overlay this or get this background bigger, because this is a three-piece, three-layer piece. So we're going to select this background. We're going to duplicate it, which is Control D, and then we're going to use our outset, Control close parentheses, until we get this as big as we want. Now, once again, it all blends together because it's black. So I'm going to make it green, and I'm going to send it to the back layer up here, the lowest section, so that way I can see what it's going to look like. Keep outsetting until you get the size you want. All right, now it looks pretty good there. Now, if you notice over here, these letters are outset out as well. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate this again. We're going to change it to a red color. We have to, once again, I can't do anything with it because it's all separate letters. So we're going to go ahead and join these together, union these together. Now it's one. Now I'll be able to outset it. And once again, we can't really tell what's going on because the colors are blending together. So we're going to make it blue and send it behind the Oakland sign. So that way we can see what's going on here. Once again, we have all those little openings in there, so we're going to break it apart, highlight them all, union them back together. Now we got a solid piece. So now I'm going to select the background, or the background of the Oakland, the background of this, and we want to join them together. So we're going to path and union. And now we have the full background. All right. Now, we want to make this a silver color, so we're going to find something on Google, some kind of a texture. I like to, I have them saved, but I'll show you how we do it. Let's do metal texture. Find one that you like. It could be any of these, whatever. I like to use that that one, but for this, we're gonna go ahead and use this right here just to see what it looks like. So we're gonna copy this, go back over, paste it into our image. Now the image, whatever texture you have has to be as big as your image, otherwise it'll cut it off. So we're gonna make it big. We're gonna select the background. We're gonna select the texture. We're gonna select the background. Right click and set clip. All right, so now it gives us that brushed metal look there, okay? Now if you look, this looks a little close to me, okay? So we don't have to redo everything. What we're gonna do is release the clip and then click our node tool and highlight the background. You can see these nodes here and then around the letters. I want to bring this down, so I'm just going to highlight these nodes right here, and I'm going to just push the down arrow key, or you could, move them around like this if you want. But I'm just going to push the down arrow key until I get a little bit more spacing there to the way I like it, which that looks pretty good there. And let's go a little bit more. All right, that looks good. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and select the texture, select the background we want to put it to, and set the clip. All right. Now, if you find that what will happen is if this thing's on top, you just have to move it down to the back layer. So, okay, so now our Oakland thing. If you notice here, these are centered in the shadows or the backdrop. So I moved his down, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go ahead and take this Oakland. We're going to union it together so that way we can use all, actually, let's click the node tool. Let's click each individual one. We're going to union it. Now it's all one piece. Now we're going to break it apart. And then we're going to click the background, make it a different color so we can see what's going on. Highlight the nodes we want to move. And move it there. Then we're going to go ahead and do the selection tool. We're going to select everything in here by holding shift. So basically it wouldn't let me select everything. So what I did was I clicked on one of the inside ones and then I hold shift and select them all, okay? And then we're going to exclude them. Maybe not. Let's go back. All right, I'm going to duplicate this. Let's try this again. Let's break it apart. We're going to exclude that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and exclude each little letter in here so that way we can work with the letter. Make these all so you can see the little pieces. So now I need to, there's a little piece there. Exclude them. piece. I'm holding select there. Exclude, make it blue. All right, so now let's go ahead and we're going to union all these together so that way it's one image again. Now we can move it where we like. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to move it to the bottom there to change the way the shadow looks. All right, so I've selected that. Let's do the node tool. We're going to select the background, and then we're going to exclude it from it. So now you have the negative version of that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this one, bring this up here, put it where we want it. Now we got some funky stuff going on here. See this stuff down here? We're going to go ahead and delete that. Click the node tool. Click, you'll see these here. Let's just go ahead and get rid of whatever that is. I don't know what those are. All right, so we got it pretty close to where we need it. Let's just go ahead and figure out what colors we want to paint it so that it looks good. We can present it to the customer and a little bit easier of a sell, okay? Now I'm going to just kind of brush it up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this background and add some shadow. So we're going to duplicate it. I'm going to release the clip so that it's the color again. We're going to delete this texture. I'm going to go ahead and make this black. I'm going to move it over to the left a couple times, 3 times, and down 3 times. Then we're going to put it to all the way to the back, and then we're going to blur it. So now it gives us the depth here with the shadow, with the drop-down shadow. I'm going to do the same thing with the bridge, duplicate it, make it black, move it over 2 spots, down 2 spots, blur it, and send it underneath the bridge. You don't want to send it all the way back, you just want it underneath the red. So now it gives you that nice shadow, and you can tell that the red is on top of the background. Do the same thing with the cityscape. It's already black. Move it over 2, down 2, blur it, and send it back down underneath the skyline. Same thing with the Oakland. Duplicate it, move it over 2, down 2, blur it, and push it down underneath the Oakland. And that's pretty much done. If you want to do a fancy edge here like I did, you can duplicate this, duplicate it again, move it over a couple spots, highlight both pieces, go to path and difference. It gives you just this little edge of it. Make the color white. Line it back up with your building and blur it. And it's a little bit too white, so I'm going to make the opacity, bring the opacity down, and then I'll just move it over till it looks, okay. All right. And then if we want to give this gradient effect here, we go ahead and select the layer we want to duplicate, which this is this one. Now that I've selected, I Control Z to bring it back. We're going to duplicate it, and we're going to go to the gradient tool here, which is going to give us a couple different options, but I'm going to just make my own gradient. Now we can make this whatever color we want. If you click the center one, you can make it white, green, red, blue, whatever you want. I'm going to make it white. The outside ones I want to be completely translucent. And then we're just going to kind of move this around until we get the desired effect that we want. That looks good there. Now, it's on top of everything, so we don't want it on top of everything. We want it behind the bridge, so we're going to move it down until it's behind the bridge. And now it gives you a little bit of a look where you can see that it's black and it's layered. And then you can move this wherever you want. You can bring it up here, you can bring it down here. I kind of like to bring it up there and make it kind of big, you know, something like that. All right, and that's it. Oakland thing done. And you can send this to the customer for approval. Makes it an easy sell.